Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Ender Academy. Today we are finally going to enter the wonderful world of focal manipulation. We're also going to fight a wither because, why not? We're just going to fight it for the laugh. So, last episode, we crafted ourselves this miraculous gold and brass exosuit along with this amazing katana, Mistiska Rakniv, both of which increase the amount of experience we get from slaying monsters out in the desert. And as you can tell, I am now ridiculously high level, because focal manipulation requires an absurd amount of experience, but it also requires something else, in the form of centivis. So, we'd better start discussing centivis, and oh gosh, look at all these bottles of enchanting. Yep, I will be at no shortage for experience. So, centivis. I have already actually employed centivis over here in my alchemy laboratory in order to power both my essentia crystallizer, which I use to store massive amounts of precantatio, and to power my infernal furnace, the blazikins over here. Hello, blazikins. Take your charcoal back. Victor, give me your memories. Evil Victor doesn't have any memories for me today. That's okay. And the node charging all of these things is right here. It's just a simple Terra Ignis node that I found and charged up with one of these node transducers. And I have built a whole bunch more of these over in... what is this building called? I think I was calling it my Arcanium, because it's just a bunch of arcane stuff, but everything in it has to do with Vis. So maybe I will change its name to something more Vis related. But anyway, this is where I can charge my wands. Not that wand, obviously, because that just charges off of my mana. And down here is my lovely focal manipulator. And now all we need to do is grab a node, put it in here, and energize it, which should be fairly simple, because this table, basically how it works is you put one of your foci. We will start with the shock focus, because it's the first focus we ever made in Ender Academy. You put it in there, select an upgrade, and then start enchanting it. It takes experience and it takes centivis. That is why we need centivis of every single type. And as you can see, I have a bunch of slots around here because I'm going to go out into the world and collect nodes of every single type with as many types each as possible just to get the maximum amount of centivis. But that's going to take a really long time and I don't want to do it right now. What I want to talk about right now is the idea of energized compound nodes, and specifically a little node that I was fortunate enough to discover down here. This is a lucrum and aqua node, and that lucrum essentia right there, a lucrum vis, that is going to be very interesting to talk about, because basically, what happens, Vigil, when we get these nodes with compound aspects in them is, when you energize them, the aspects break down to equivalent amounts of their primal components, and it follows all of the normal rules of how aspects combine and divide into other aspects. Just like with alchemy, it would be like putting all of it through a centrifuge. So, what happened is, I went and looked at this node and started thinking about what aspects are components of lucrum. And if we go up to my little research globe here, enter the Dome of Contemplation, except it's actually a globe. Anyway, and then I don't have it here, but I have the notes with me right here on this piece of paper, which is probably really loud. Let's go over the aspects of lucrum, and let's be super, super scholarly about this. So lucrum is a highly complicated, high-tier aspect, which means it has a lot of components. Its first two components are humanus and fames, so let's look at the fames first, since that's the simplest one. Fames breaks down into victus and vacuus, which respectively break down into aqua, terra, air, and perditio. So boom, we've already got 4 out of the 6 primals. That's pretty good. Now let's look at the humanus, because, humanus is really, really complicated. Humanus breaks down into Cognitio and Bestia. Let's look at Bestia first. It breaks down into Victus and Modus. Victus breaks down into Aqua and Terra. Modus breaks down into Air and Ordo. That's the second time Victus shows up in here, and it won't be the last. Over at Cognitio, it breaks down into Spiritus and Ignis. The Spiritus breaks down into Mortus and Victus, and the Mortus breaks down into Beridiccio, and you guessed it, Victus. And all that Victus breaks down into even more Aqua and Terra. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, all of the different primal aspects are present in the aspect of Lucrum. This is true of a lot of complicated aspects, including Fabricio, and heck, even Humanus itself alone just contains all of the primal aspects. But as you can tell, not only are the numbers of different instances of the primal aspects appearing different, but they all appear at different levels of this alchemic vis architecture. So to determine how much of each one we actually have, let's split it off into layers of different percentages, because remember, 1 point of an essentia breaks down into half a point of each other one, if we're doing this mathematically, not the way a centrifuge would do it, which is random. And so by just counting down these different rankings and adding up all the different instances of each individual primal aspect, we can determine the exact percentage of Lucrum that belongs to each individual primal. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost through this crazy mess. So, Lucrum contains 18.75% of air, 23.4375% of aqua, 12.5% of ignis, 6.25% of ordo, 15.625% of perdicio, and 23.4375% of terra. That's it, we're done. And we know that all of these figures are accurate because when you add up those percentages, they total a whopping 100%, meaning that every single speck of Lucrum is accounted for. So, it took me apparently a really freaking long time to explain that. So what does that mean? Well, it means that if we go down here and capture this Lucrum node and energize it, we will have instances of every single primal aspect in centivis form. That is pretty dang cool. It means that I won't even need to artificially create a node by making one node absorb other nodes in order to do this. I know there are other ways of creating like the perfect node with a bajillion of each aspect in it, but you know, I really don't need to do that because the only reason you would want a ton of, I lost my train of thought. Die, zombie! The only reason you would need a ton of each primal aspect is to make the machine run faster, and I am an incredibly, almost mind-numbingly patient man. So I'm okay with it being a little bit slow. So let's just go ahead and capture this thing, put it in our central slot of our little vis emporium down here, whatever I'm going to call it. I need to come up with a better name. And then we can immediately set about our very first focal manipulation, which I'm very excited about. If you couldn't tell by that giant freaking diagram that I just made and all the math that I did. Oh gosh. This is where science and magic meets, ladies and gentlemen, using mathematics to determine what the heck is going on in your Thaumcraft. Last episode, with this whole steam exosuit combined with arcane enchanting combined with the way of the samurai, I thought we did a pretty good job of being a steampunk wizard samurai and actually solving a major problem, which is the shortage of experience. So, I don't know. I think that was just a sort of magical, beautiful moment. And I'm sure that this will also work just as well. Of course it went pale. They always go pale. Well, most of them go pale. I don't think my Ordo node went pale. By the way, if this is the first episode of Ender Academy you're seeing, I know that this Aura node setup is not ideal at all. I just liked the aesthetics of it, of having one of each primal. Alright. Put this right in the center, and all we need to do is release it. There we go, it is stabilized, and it is now getting energized. So let's see what happens when this thing finishes the energization process. We will have tiny piddly little bits of each primal aspect. I am waiting. That's it! We've done it, we've energized. Oh ho ho! That turned out perfectly! How did it end up getting so much of each one? According to my math, it shouldn't have gotten any more than 2 or 3 of each one, but for some reason, it's ended up with 5 of every single primal aspect. 5 flat. That doesn't make a lick of sense. I mean, there was almost 4 times as much Terra and Aqua as there was Ordo. What the heck? Well, I am not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Nee, thank you, Connor chap. Not you, horse. It's a figure of speech. You're not a gift horse. I created you and gave you life, so you're not a gift.
Nee, I'm a gift to all of humanity, Connor chap. My opera singing knows no bounds.
Yes, it knows no bounds of quality or listenability. Now, get in here, horse. Let's actually start our first focal manipulation. So wand focus shock. Let's add potency. That's a pretty good speed. And this focal manipulator, believe it or not, unlike most machines, it doesn't require a vis relay in order to get centivis, which means that it can draw centivis from multiple energized nodes at once, which is why we have all of these different slots available. So eventually, I will have a ridiculous amount of centivis, and this process will be extremely fast. But in the meantime, there we go. We have potency on there. We might as well put another level on. I don't care that I'm wasting tons and tons of XP right here that I could have put through my bathroom system in order to bottle and be much more efficient about it. I really don't care. I can gain like 100 levels of experience in just a couple of nights, just killing things with Mistiska Rakniv and my power suit, which, by the way, I love this exosuit so much. The leap actuator especially is so fantastic in conjunction with, let's see, the thrusters, the steam wings, the modular movement assist, the pulse nozzles. It's just perfect. I absolutely love it. It's obviously no replacement for my Thaumian fortress armor. I mean, how could I ever abandon this glorious example of arms and armor? This thing is my battle suit. I can't abandon that. Plus, it helps deal with the Thaumcraft warp by making it slightly less severe. But you know what? I am reveling in the craziness, and I'm reveling in my steampunk exosuit. Now this is interesting. At certain tiers, we're at 3 of 5, different special abilities can be unlocked. Earth Shock would turn it into sort of an area of effect over time damaging thing, and Chain Lightning makes the damage go up and can chain to 2 additional targets. Now, I really want Chain Lightning, but at the same time, if I had Chain Lightning, it would damage my allies. So, I mean, if Esmeralda Navala ever came back to us, our poor dragon who flew away, or maybe just vanished into thin air, I have no idea, or if Vigil was wandering around in the middle of battle and had Chain Lightning, that would probably kill my allies. So, guess what? We don't want to kill our allies, do we? No, we don't, Vigil. No, we don't.
Yes, we do, Connor chap. Yes, we do, because we're madmen. Evil, mysterious madmen are we.
No, horse. No evil. Stop being evil. So anyway, I'm just sticking with potency on this, and this is going to take a long time. Aha! Looks like we got level 3. Now, I'm going to come back to this later because, you know, higher levels take a ridiculous amount of this and we're still pretty slow with the enchanting process. There's another focus that I would like to take a look at. Oh, here it is. And that is the fireball focus, because I just kind of want to show off, you know, what focal manipulation can do. I normally don't use fire-based damage, but this is just too cool not to do, and I think you can already guess what it is, because I had a little Freudian slip there and said, you can turn your fire focus into a fireball focus. It is going to be fantastic. There it is, either fire beam or fireball. Start upgrade. Vigil, you make every crafting process just that much more adorable now that you're a toad. I think it's almost done with the fireball upgrade. And then we will be able to actually test fire it and see what a practical application it has. Ho ho ho, fireball. It even says the upgrades over there in the corner and when you're about to select things, which is fantastic. So potency 2, fireball 1. Let's go into our helicopter landing pad and just test fire this into the canyon after we reload those chunks. Okay, where can I shoot where I won't hit a cow? Fantastic! That worked like a magical charm. Oh, that's wonderful. I love being able to follow along with the fireballs as well. Oh, I missed that one. Well, that is really freaking cool. There are all kinds of other upgrades we can do as well, like for instance we can take our equal trade focus and make it customizable. We can also take this wand focus of excavation and improve it so that when we make our arcane bore, we will actually be able to, you know, mine better. I hope. I think. I suspect. But there's also one more type of wand focus that I would like to make, and it's been set up on my infusion altar over here for a little while. The wand focus of warding, because that can also be upgraded. Unfortunately, we don't have another star. So we're going to need to fight our first wither and get another star. What a segue, Connor Chap. Great job smoothly segueing from peaceful magical infusion and stuff to, you know, an epic battle. Since the rapture has happened and all, and we're the only people left in the world, I might as well head over near Ryla's old mountain to where we raised our deer dragon Esmeralda Navala, who has for some reason disappeared, and we might as well summon the withers here. Why not in this peaceful landscape? Actually, no. Let's do it at the top of the mountain. Because, I mean, with this exosuit and stuff, we can essentially fly, so it should be fine. Should I be wearing my fortress armor for this? I will rely on Tutamen and Orm in order to keep myself safe. And you know what? Since we are so freaking powerful, we're actually going to summon 2 of them. Is this a bad idea? I don't think this is a bad idea. Actually, let's summon them a bit further away from each other because I don't know if hitboxes or whatever nonsense will prevent things from working properly. And hey, we'll even be able to shoot these guys with our new lightning and fireball focuses. That'll be fantastic. I think I'm going to stick with lightning though. We've seen what the fireball focuses can do. I'm more of a lightning energy kind of guy. So, Wither 1. And Wither 2. And teleport away. Come now, Withers. Show me what you are made of. There's 1. There's 2. They see me, they're engaged, and they don't even know that they're already dead. Yes! Hit me with your best shot, Withers. Show me what the kings of the Nether can do. Show me how you can best a mage of my caliber. Is that all you have? I'm slightly disappointed. Alienness! Potentia! Aerial combat has never felt so good. Oh, I killed 1. Now it's time for the other. Where is he? It's really hard to see with this camera sometimes. Ah, there you are. Lovely to see that you're still engaged in these proceedings. Why don't you just allow me to blast you from the sky? Does that sound amenable to you, sir? I'd say it does. Ah, let's try our wand focus now. Eat lightning! Witherface. It's a terrible insult. Ah, we're almost there. You can feel that your defeat is inevitable and yet your twisted mind is incapable of comprehending it. It's good to be a steampunk wizard. Let's head back down. Do I have any nether stars on my person? No. So I guess that's the disadvantage, is now we need to search through these fields in order to collect our gains. We got one nether star. That's enough to make the focus. Now, where on earth did I kill the other wither? That's going to be a mild problem. So apparently it was a massive mistake fighting two withers at once, because now it is almost impossible to find the second nether star in this huge mess. But thankfully, you know, a wither isn't that hard to kill, and I have all the materials necessary back home because I used Tinker's Construct to build one of those fancy swords of decapitation, so I don't feel too bad about misplacing an entire nether star. Oh gosh, that is just ridiculously decadent. We're calling off the search, and we're going home.
Decidia.
Rise and shine. Let's leak off some experience so that we can gain even more bottles. I'm just going to diligently, from now on, upgrade every single focus that I can get my grubby little ender hands on, and it is going to be fantastic. I've already set up all the Essentia down under, so we can see how this Essentia mirror works in drawing the Essentia that we need. Yep, sucks it right out of that there mirror. Utterly fantastic. I love that. I love that so much. And I think we set up all the materials around here, and it is not a particularly unstable recipe, so there should be no danger here whatsoever. Let's just sit back and relax and watch our glorious inventions work their magic. Vigil? Vigil just freaking loves these arcane levitators. It's ridiculous. Hey, look at that. We got our wand focus awarding. Come here, Vigil. Let's go infuse this little bugger and see what kind of things we can get on a more structural upgrade. At the beginning, it's just frugal, but I think after we get past the first rank, or maybe the second rank of frugal, it should give us some interesting options, like being able to customize the area and stuff like that. Ah, there we go. Architect. Gives you a lot more control over the area certain foci affect. That is beautiful. Utterly beautiful. So we'll be able to ward all of the various buildings around here so that they don't explode. Except really, now that this is a single player, and I am not at risk of, you know, getting strafed by an X-Wing or something, that really doesn't have the same benefit anymore. Although I guess I could use it to fight withers in my base. Except I think mob griefing is still turned off from when this was a server. So, Also, my research dome is already warded with all this warded glass. Man, you would not believe how expensive this stuff was to make. You needed to kill so many brainy zombies in order to get the brains for this. But anyway, I'd say that that is just about that. It's been a simple episode, you know, not particularly complicated. We only did a little bit of Vis mathematics, and we only upgraded a few tiny focuses. But by next time, I will hopefully have every single one of my foci fully upgraded, and I might even craft a few more, although I don't think the Thaumic Tinkerer foci actually work with the, whatchamacallit, the focal manipulator. I just don't think they respond in kind. They're a little bit outdated, but that's okay. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Next time, I am going to be gunning for all of the Thaumcraft research. That's what I'm going to do, because I've realized that the only way we are ever going to unlock a Purtus Oculus is if we just research every single freaking thing in this book, tainted and otherwise, and just get as warped as possible. I think my Ender brain can withstand that sheer amount of warp, and it will be glorious. Oh, wait, real quick, let's just see what this does. This allows me to ward an area, as it were, and I believe if I hit the G key, yep, that allows me to change the area that it is warding. And I can even hit shift to change the dimension that I am toggling. There we go. So I could only ward like 1 block deep or something like that. That is utterly fantastic. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Oh gosh darn it, the arms of this exosuit are broken again. Take it off. No, take it off. And maybe I will see you next time. Goodbye and take care. Yes, Vigil, don't worry, we're never going to do math again.